now. Nigeria will change. Nigeria will change. We protect our vote. We protect our vote.
Hello, I am Kelvin Chima and this is Olaga TV. You all know the slogan. Wherever, however, whenever, wanna go hear 'em. Fellow Nigerians, when do we grow up? Nearly all of Nigeria's general elections has been tainted with broad strikes of violence, most times caused by ethnic slurs, tribal bigotry, religious profiling. Election rigging is the least of it all, owing to the fact that most Nigerians have come to accept that as a status quo in our election processes. The first outrage that showed the first election conducted in 1964-65, for example, claimed more than 200 lives, especially in the southwest. According to Human Rights Watch, the country also experienced massive election violence following the 1983 election, with so many lives lost and properties destroyed. Even the 1999 general elections, which were adjudged to be the freest in the country's history, with no much serious episodes of violence, did not have clean record. Its annulment by the Ibrahim Babangida-led administration triggered a public outcry with a wave of protest, which led to Campaign for Democracy, headed by then Boko Ramson Kuti. Report estimated that over 100 peaceful demonstrators and innocent passers-by were gunned down by security operatives, allegedly trying to contain the violent offshoot of the supposed murder of all protests of July 1993. There was widespread violence following the allegations of fraud that ushered in the presidency of Olusegun Obasanjo. At least 100 people were killed during incidents of violence triggered by federal and state elections. In 2003, at least 300 people died in connection to election violence alone, and 70 others were recorded missing. Again in 2011, post-election violence led to the death of at least 800 people during and after 3 days of rioting in 12 northern states in Nigeria. The report states that this is the worst in the country's political history. The widespread violence led by the supporters of the main opposition candidate, General Muhammadu Buhari, of the Congress for Progressive Change (CPC), turned down a violent movement following the re-election of the incumbent Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, a Christian from Niger Delta South, who was the then candidate for People's Democratic Party (PDP). Human Rights Watch noted that during and after the general elections in 2015, more than 100 people lost their lives. According to International Crisis Group, Amnesty International, European Union Election Observation Mission, about 150 people were killed due to violence linked to the last national election in 2019. In trying to fathom why what is supposed to be the hallmark of democracy faces such grievous challenges, so many reports believe that these challenges emanate from weak governance to ineffectiveness of security agencies.
No, this is my unit.
Poverty, unemployment, a lack of inclusiveness, abuse of power, political alienation, impunity, and regional power imbalances. Between April 2014 and May 2022, it is reported that at least 350 people lost their lives to electoral violence, and 51 others, mostly INEC officials, were abducted. All this violence, which comes in many forms like assassination, kidnapping, arson, killing, ballot box snatching, coercion, disruption of electoral processes, religious and ethnic slurs, and so on. And now in 2023, Nigerians trooped out again in mass to elect a new president, vice president, and members of the National Assembly. Since the 1999 Constitution, as amended, bars President Muhammadu Buhari from running a third time in office, whom his presidency marks the longest democratic stretch since independence. But quite unfortunate, all that came out for this exercise never made it back home to rejoin with their loved ones, as some were harassed, abused, and evidences of killing around the nation. The 2023 general elections, which was to most Nigerians the end to an era, received so many promises from the electoral body, INEC, to be professional in their conduct and transmit results electronically at each polling unit, which they failed.
Citizens will even know the outcome of elections before we make a formal declaration. No problem. We are not uploading.
The message is that after the election, we are going to transmit the election, collect the election at the collation center. And so we are not transmitting it here at the polling unit today.
To the security operatives whom aided the snatching of ballot boxes in some polling units,
collaboration with the very police at the polling unit has been making our efforts to truncate the process of election.
And the policemen are there. They are even joining the ambulance to attack. Please, Nigeria should arise. Enough is enough.
and while others watched helplessly as innocent voters were being harassed. The election once again recorded a series of deaths, arson, kidnapping, ballot box snatching was not left behind, and more so, harassment of innocent voters by some misguided indigenous thugs. The 2023 general elections might have come and gone, but the enmity the process has created will take its awful turn on friends, colleagues, regional affiliations, ethnic nationalities, on people, and so on. Dear fellow Nigerians, elections is never war. When do we grow up?